When a dog refused to leave his owner's grave, the heartbreaking loyalty revealed something scientists had long overlooked. For centuries, stories of dogs mourning their humans have been dismissed as emotional exaggerations or anthropomorphic projections. However, modern research into animal cognition and emotional processing has forced scientists to reconsider what dogs truly experience. The case of the loyal dog at his owner's grave added powerful evidence to this growing field of study. The dog, a mixed breed named Capitan, stood vigil beside his owner's resting place every night for years. Capitan wasn't led to the grave by humans, he found it himself, despite never visiting the cemetery before. This incredible homing ability fascinated scientists, but it was the dog's unwavering devotion that held the greatest significance. For over a decade, Capitan refused to leave, braving cold nights, storms, and hunger to stay by the grave. His behavior reflected not just loyalty but a profound emotional bond that scientists once thought only humans could form. The discovery forced researchers to confront the depth of canine attachment and how dogs process grief and loss. For decades, scientists believed attachment in dogs was based primarily on food, shelter, and daily routines. Capitan's story shattered that assumption, revealing how deep emotional ties shape canine behavior long after death. Studies into canine brain activity now show that dogs process emotions in ways remarkably similar to humans. When dogs bond with owners, their brains release oxytocin, the same hormone responsible for love and attachment in humans. This chemical bonding process explains why separation from an owner triggers stress, anxiety, and even depressive symptoms in dogs. Capitan's refusal to leave the grave wasn't just loyalty, it was evidence of grief with biological and emotional roots. Researchers found that dogs, like humans, form attachment networks that endure even after physical separation or death. These attachments aren't simply habit-based but represent deep social connections embedded in the dog's neurological framework. When an owner dies, the sudden loss of that bond can trigger grief responses similar to those seen in bereaved humans. Scientists studying Capitan's behavior began comparing his vigil to similar mourning behaviors seen in wolves, elephants, and primates. Wolves, the ancestors of domestic dogs, show comparable mourning behaviors when pack members die or disappear. Some wolves howl mournfully, visit the location of a fallen pack mate, or withdraw from social interaction entirely. Capitan's behavior echoed this ancient wolf instinct, adapted through domestication into something uniquely shaped by human-canine bonds. Unlike wolves, dogs evolved alongside humans, learning to read emotional cues and form attachment bonds across species. Capitan's actions reflected not just instinct but a deep understanding that his owner was gone yet still present. Dogs have been shown to recognize their owner's scent years after separation, linking smell to memory and emotion. Even after death, the scent traces left at a grave or burial site can trigger emotional recognition in dogs. Capitan likely recognized his owner's lingering scent at the grave, reinforcing his decision to stay close by. However, scent alone couldn't explain the duration or intensity of his vigil, which lasted over a decade. Scientists believe that dogs, particularly those with strong human bonds, experience grief as a multi-sensory emotional response. Visual, auditory, and olfactory cues combine with emotional memory to create a persistent sense of longing and attachment. This layered grief response mirrors the human experience of mourning, making Capitan's vigil a rare scientific case study. Neuroscientists studying grieving dogs have found elevated cortisol levels, indicating prolonged stress and emotional distress. Prolonged grief, particularly in highly bonded dogs, can suppress appetite, disrupt sleep patterns, and weaken immune function. Capitan's physical decline over the years reflected this internal struggle between biological survival and emotional loss. What made Capitan's case unique was his ability to locate and identify his owner's grave without guidance. Researchers speculate that dogs' extraordinary olfactory sensitivity allows them to detect subtle chemical changes in burial sites. Decomposing human remains release unique scent compounds that dogs, especially those closely bonded to the deceased, can recognize. Capitan's ability to find his owner's grave suggests dogs combine memory, scent tracking, and emotional attachment into purposeful action. This purposeful mourning behavior challenges long-held scientific beliefs about animal cognition and awareness of death. Capitan's actions suggest dogs don't just sense loss, they understand it on a deeper, more emotional level. Some scientists believe that through domestication, dogs evolved not only physical traits but emotional intelligence tailored to human bonds. This emotional intelligence allows dogs to recognize absence, process loss, and even alter behavior in response to death. Capitan's story revealed how these evolved emotional capacities persist even when no direct reward, food, or care is involved. His vigil wasn't about survival, it was an expression of grief, loyalty, and an enduring attachment beyond life. Scientists compared Capitan's behavior to documented cases of dogs refusing to leave hospital rooms after owners died. In those cases, dogs exhibited symptoms of depression, including lethargy, loss of appetite, and disinterest in social interaction. These behavioral changes closely resemble human grief responses, challenging the notion that dogs are purely reactive creatures. Capitan's vigil forced scientists to confront the possibility that dogs possess an awareness of mortality and finality. This awareness may not mirror human philosophical concepts, but it reflects a deep emotional understanding of permanent separation. While many animals show attachment behaviors, few demonstrate prolonged mourning extending years after a companion's death. Capitan's unwavering presence at the grave demonstrated the emotional depth possible in the human-canine bond. His story highlights how human companionship reshaped canine evolution, embedding loyalty and emotional attachment into their biology. This evolutionary shift, favoring emotionally attuned dogs, helped early humans select companions capable of deep social bonds. Capitan's behavior also aligned with cases of dogs detected sitting beside deceased littermates or grieving over lost puppies. These cases indicate that grief in dogs isn't limited to human bonds but extends to their closest animal relationships. However, the unique intensity of grief seen in human-bonded dogs like Capitan highlights the transformative power of human-canine relationships. Scientists studying attachment theory increasingly recognize that dogs form secure attachments to human caregivers similar to parent-child bonds. This secure attachment helps dogs regulate stress, find comfort, and navigate unfamiliar environments through their bond with the owner. When that attachment figure disappears permanently, the dog's emotional and biological stress response can become overwhelming. Capitan's case emphasized that attachment doesn't fade with death but persists as an unresolved longing for reunion. His story became a scientific turning point, inspiring further research into canine grief, attachment, and emotional intelligence. Behavioral studies, MRI brain scans, and hormonal analysis all support the view that dogs process loss in complex emotional ways. Capitan's vigil didn't just capture hearts, it challenged science to rethink how animals experience loyalty, love, and death. His legacy continues to influence research into the emotional lives of dogs and their extraordinary bond with humans. In Life and Death, Capitan's loyalty revealed that dogs, like humans, grieve not just the loss of care, but the loss of love itself.